Hi students, so let us now solve another problem based on simple harmonic motion. This is a previous year's JEE advanced question. So they are saying the coordinates of a particle is given by x and y, which has a functional dependence on time given by a cos omega t and b sin omega t. So this a and b are not same. B is less than a, they are same. So when you say x and y, it is always with respect to some origin, right? So the particle is moving in a xy plane, right? So if you take any point, this is your position vector r bar, and that will have some x and y coordinates. So this represents your x, and this represents your y. You put vector xik, yj, right? Okay. So now they are saying the path of this particle would be ellipse. First option. Second option says velocity and acceleration vector will be perpendicular at time pi by 2 omega. Acceleration is always directed towards a focus. So, matlab a given point. Okay, here focus means given point. And the distance covered by the particle is equal to this a from time 0 to time pi by 2 omega. So, to find the path, okay, we have already discussed in class also. The path of a particle means you have to write y as a function of x. So in projectile we get some formula for y in terms of x, right? Y equal to tan theta x minus g by 2 u square cos square theta into x square. So here how can we relate y and x? You can see t is the common between them. So this I can write t sin omega t alone, I can write y by b, and this cos omega t alone I can write x by a. Then to find the relation between sine and cos, what we can do? Square and add, right? So sine square omega t plus cos square omega t equals to 1. If you do that, immediately you will get the relation between y and x. So sine is y by b, so this will be y square by b square. This will be x square by a square equals to 1. And you all know this is the equation of ellipse. So first option is correct. Now this is not single option correct question, okay? This is multiple option based correct question. So now we have to check velocity and acceleration. Now how to find velocity? You cannot now write velocity as simply dx by dt, okay? That we do in 1D motion. So in 2D motion, how do we write velocity? We can write it as vx I cap plus vy j cap. And vx is dx by dt I cap plus dy by dt j cap, which I can further write d by dt of x I cap plus y j cap, right? X I cap plus y j cap, which is nothing but r bar. So that is your velocity. This is neither your tangential velocity or nor your normal velocity or radial velocity. This is just the actual velocity. So to find the velocity, let us write r bar. Okay, so r bar will be what? X I cap plus y j cap. X is a cos omega t I cap plus y j cap. Y is b sin omega t j cap. Is it visible? Yes. Now let's take derivative of this to find velocity. So derivation of this a is constant, will come out, right? Derivative of cos omega t is minus sin omega t times omega. Generally you have to write, you have to differentiate omega t once more. Like plus differentiation of b sin omega t, b will come outside, cos omega t times omega j cap. So velocity vector will be minus a omega sin omega t I cap plus b omega cos omega t j cap. Okay. Acceleration, you have to take one more derivative of this. So if you take one more derivative of this, sine will become cos and one more omega will come. So it will become minus a omega square cos omega t I cap plus, and this you can write cos derivation will give you minus b, cos will become minus sin, one more omega will come, so omega square sin omega t j cap. Now let us see these two vectors are perpendicular or not at time pi by 2 omega. So let me clear some space. So at pi by 2 omega. So when time is at t equal to pi by 2 omega, what will be your velocity vector? Let us see. So when this t is pi by how much? 2 omega, right? This t. So this will become sin pi by 2. So this will become 9. Here we can substitute. This is the velocity. T is pi by 2 omega. Okay. So minus a omega sin omega t. T is pi by 2 omega. Omega omega cancel, pi by 2. Sin pi by 2 is 1. Okay. What about this? This is cos omega into pi by 2 omega. Omega omega cancel, cos pi by 2. Cos pi by 2 is 0. So this is your velocity. What about acceleration? In this instant, this will become 0 for the same reason, and this will be non-zero. So minus b omega squared sin omega t will be 1 j cap. So if you take dot product of these two, clearly you will get 0 because this is I cap, this is j cap. So it clearly means that the two vectors are perpendicular. So option B is also correct. Okay. Option C, acceleration is always directed towards a given point. I don't want to use the word focus, okay? I will explain later why. Then final is the distance. So acceleration vector we have already calculated here. So now the question is this vector always towards a given point? That we have to think. So what you have to try to do is relate this acceleration with r bar. So minus, if I take omega square common, what is left is what? A cos omega t plus b sin omega t j cap. Exactly same as r bar. So this is r bar. So acceleration is minus r bar, means r bar is here. So acceleration of the particle will be here. Later when the particle is moving in ellipse, okay, whatever may be the path, it's not a very nice ellipse I have drawn. Anyways, so as the particle moves an elliptical path, when it is here, this will be your r bar, right? From origin to the particle. So acceleration will be opposite to r bar. So acceleration is always towards the origin. So option C is also correct. D, distance traveled from t0 to t pi by 2 omega is a. t0, what is your position vector at t0? So this is the formula for position vector, right? So at t0, put t0, this will be a cos 0 1, so it will be a I cap. So this is your position vector. So if I draw this vector, so now since we know the path is ellipse, at time 0, position vector is a I cap, right? So this is the position vector. So a I cap, along I cap. This is the vector. Then time t equal to 2 pi by 2 omega. If you put pi by 2 omega here, pi by 2 omega, omega omega cancel, cos pi by 2 is 90 degree, cos 90 is 0. Here pi by will be b j cap. So it will be later time. What will be position vector at this instant? This is at t equal to 0, position vector. Now I want at t equal to pi by 2 omega. So put t equal to pi by 2 omega in the formula of position vector, mind you. So here pi by 2 omega will give you 0, here pi by 2 omega will give you sin pi by 2, which is 1. So b j cap. B j cap means where? This. This is j cap, this is b. I hope you understood why this is a, this is b, right? Because your equation was what? X squared by a square plus y squared by b squared equal to 1. So when x is 0, this whole thing is 0, then y will be what? plus minus b. So when x is 0, when x is 0 means this line, right? Y is either b or minus b. So this length or this length is b. Similarly, when y is 0, x square will be a square when y is 0. So x will be plus a or minus a. So the particle goes from here to here. So this length is clearly not a. The distance cannot be a. This is a. How can this distance be a, right? So this is 1/4 of the circumference.